So, 2021 has given us a good amount of comic book movies and TV shows. You know, some of them hit, others didn't hit as much, and some we don't talk about those. I mean, did it really need to be 4 hours? Did we really need to spend time seeing it's the same movie, it's the same story. The movies are exactly the same. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. The Snyder Cut. But lo, we received a gift from our overlord, Jeff Bezos, over at Amazon, who hath given us from the heavens the wonder that is now Invincible. Okay, we get it. We get it. Alright, stop it. Invincible is the series based on the comic by Robert Kirkman. You know, he's the dude who created a little indie comic series that's a TV show now about, I don't know, fucking zombies or whatever. The story, it follows Mark Grayson, who's the son of the world's greatest hero, Omni-Man. And Mark doesn't have any of his powers, but he really wishes he does, because he wants to be a hero like his father. And then one day, everything changes when it actually happened, and his superhero career begins. Now, when I saw the trailer for this, I, like a lot of fans of the original comic book, was hyped as hell. I had just finished my second read-through of the series, which moves at an absolute clip, by the way. I definitely recommend, if you are interested in the show or have seen the show, go back and read the original source material. It's actually really good. But I was so excited. I was over the moon seeing the characters and the world of Invincible of the series that I loved so much reading on the page actually being put to screen. It was amazing. I was even more overjoyed when we got the first 3 episodes of when the season dropped, and it was actually just good. The few issues I do have with the show are mainly centered around the way that the source material story was condensed to fit into these 8 episodes. But again, all in all, I was thoroughly entertained. And one of the biggest reasons why I find the show so interesting is the sort of detour the story takes with the original material. With any adaptation, there's going to be some liberties taken in the way that the story is told, and oftentimes it doesn't really work. A lot of the times the changes made to this adaptation from the original source material are so great a departure, the story ends up becoming something else, and you just are detached from it in general. But I think in terms of what Invincible does, I do think it works. I know that Robert Kirkman had said in interviews that we would be surprised at just how much we go through these 8 episodes, how much comes early, how much doesn't happen at all or is coming on later. But again, all those changes, all those little detours from the original story, from the original path of the story, do benefit the show overall. The bare bones of the story are there. Mark Grayson is a person who wants to be a hero, he wishes he's a hero, he finally gets his powers, and then he goes about being a hero, and all the characters and all the interactions happen in similar ways. In fact, one of the changes that I actually do like is just how much we see between Mark and his dad, Omni-Man. That relationship is pretty much the crux of the story, and I don't believe that the comic did a very good job in showing us that relationship. I believe the show did. The show has so many moments between Mark and his dad, one of note being in the first episode where he is training with his dad, and his dad punches him, is trying to teach him how to fly, but then he teaches him how to fight, and he punches him, and he's like, "Oh, Dad, why did you hit me?" And he's like, "You gotta know that when you're a hero, you gotta expect the unexpected. You gotta be able to take hits. It's not just about flying and whatever, it's about being able to take a hit." And not only is that a good bit of foreshadowing, it's just a nice interaction. There's another moment where Mark is talking to his father after he stopped his first bad guy, and he wants him to hit him. He's like, "Hit me, Dad, hit me, I can take it, I'm tough." And Stephen Yeun does it better. I'm just gonna, cut to that.
We're okay? It scared me, it wasn't too much, I could take the pain. I'm strong.
I know you are.
No, you don't! I know you think I can't do this. Hit me and let me prove you wrong. Please, Dad. Please, just hit me.
But that moment is important not only for Mark and his father's relationship, but also for Mark's character. Mark is one of the characters that I actually think is done better in the show too than the book. The show gives us a lot more of a vulnerable Mark than we see in the books. In the books, when he gets his powers, he's like, "I'm eager, I'm ready to do this, I'm ready to do this," and the third. But the show, when Mark gets his powers, it's all fun and games when he's fighting bad guys, but then almost immediately he's faced with a crisis, an alien invasion that he is absolutely not at all ready for. And that trauma of seeing what it's actually like being a superhero, it more or less helps strengthen Mark's resolve to want to be a better hero. And it shows us that this world, there's actual stakes. There's actual stakes here. People die in very brutal ways, often brutal ways. And again, I think that brutality helps add to Mark's overall story. I believe his arc is just about earning the name that he chose when he became a superhero. Throughout the show, all the stuff that he goes through, he still wants to be a hero. The show is showing us that his resolve is unbreakable. His resolve is Yeah, I knew they were gonna do that. I don't know why they did that. Other characters that I enjoy and I think that got more play are definitely Debbie, Mark's mother. In the book, she's a mom, you know. Oh, sweetie, how was school? Oh, honey, how was being a superhero? That kind of thing. But in the show, she plays a more active role in the progression of the narrative. I mean, she's one of the few people who are actually suspicious of Omni-Man, and in her own way tries to figure out what exactly went wrong with, again, spoilers if you haven't seen it, murder of the Guardians of the Globe. She is suspicious of Omni-Man and even confronts him, and that's absolutely bizarre, just seeing a normal human confronting a being who she knows can just snap her neck like a twig in a millisecond, just standing her ground and saying, you know what, get out, I know you're responsible, what aren't you telling me, tell me now. I'm not really going to spend too much time talking about some of the other characters. They were good, but not really, they didn't really have much play. I liked Cecil. I liked that interaction. It's exactly what it is from the books. The team are fine. They're more or less what they are in the books. I liked seeing the training sequence where they were auditioning more people for the Guardians of the Globe. I liked seeing Monster Girl, Black Samson, all these characters from the books. I just liked seeing them. I don't know if I like them in particular, but again, seeing them on screen was great. Now, what I do want to talk about is the one problem I had with the show. And as I said earlier, it's the way that they condense the story into these 8 episodes. The idea that we have to pack so much in with only a limited number of episodes is the same reason I didn't like WandaVision. I didn't vibe that well with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I will just never understand why we can't get it right. When they do that in the show, it ends up upsetting the pace of the story and making the episode overall feel like all over the place, because we're jumping from character to character, trying to set up their specific plot lines that happened in the books and making them happen now. In fact, after those 3 episodes, that's where you start to notice it happening a bit more and more, and I'm not gonna lie, it did take me out of the story a bit. I believe that there is some kind of middle ground where you can do setup and have it progress along with the main story, and doing it in a way that basically doesn't make it feel like a massive detour, like we're stopping our story and going to set something up. All that being said, again, I really enjoyed the show. I thought it was great. I thought the animation was good. I'm not an animator, but I've heard many a criticism made towards some of the design choices, like when you see Mark flying, it looks like, you know, point and click adventure game where you're dragging him across the screen. Again, I'm not an animator, so I didn't notice a lot of the animation issues. I was told that they didn't have that much of a budget, and most of it went primarily to the action scenes, which I loved, which are amazing. And again, they are brutal, yes, but that brutality, as I always felt even reading that in the books, the brutality helped tell that overall story. This isn't Marvel, this isn't DC. There are genuine stakes where people just die, and can do it anytime. The brutality helps. I will say that in the last episode, the brutality that Invincible is known for was brought to a level that almost rivaled that of the Snyderverse. So I was a little meh, but again, it did not take away from the story. I still genuinely enjoyed it. I loved Mark. I loved Debbie. I liked Omni-Man. He was amazing. I loved this whole show. I loved the whole story, and having it end the way it does, that was heartbreaking. Go watch the scene. I don't want to spoil it for you here. There's a lot of stuff that I don't want to talk about and spoil, because I just want you to go see for yourself or read for yourself. But this is definitely one of the better superhero shows that have come out. Again, not to knock WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but those shows I didn't vibe well. And while I did have my problems with Invincible, there was still enough that I loved in the show to make me think this is great. So if you like good animation, if you like good storytelling, if you like brutal action, then Invincible is definitely the show that you should probably check out.
You might as well give up. I'm